So what I find interesting so far, because I had some follow-ups, not many, maybe 10, but not a fucking chance. Like it was always, oh no, we changed my mind. Thank you very much. Bye. No hesitation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and I think I don't have enough data. I was just wondering, like, why is it? I mean, was I going
because
or because
no,
they
no,
don't
no,
even want to have the conversation, right?
It's guilt. It's guilt, man. That basically, from a psychology term, there's something called the commitment swing, right? It's something that it's seen across all society, and it's something that's seen especially with drug addiction. But it's in all decision making, actually. So basically, what people do is they get into this high level of commitment on something. Yes, I want to do this. Yes, the right thing. And they're being totally honest with you, man. They're not bullshitting you. They're literally in that moment. They're literally in that moment believing that this is the right thing for them, right? And then, but it's completely based on a scaling communication, which is what we do in sales calls, right? We get them to say what they need to, so they say yes, 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 right? And then when you give them enough time, which really isn't much, by the way, like next morning is enough. They've had a reset. Everyone's had a reset, man. Like in terms of psychology, if you think about it, like the mind there's no such thing as actual past, right? In the same way, there's no actual thing as actual future. The mind just deludes the body and the person to think that through a collection of memories that it happened. Whereas you don't actually know what past is because it doesn't actually exist, right? And I make that point. Basically, the mind persuades itself. And because the mind persuades itself on something that previously happened, when you have a reset, you're literally resetting your whole identity each morning. It's a crazy thing. It's why it's so easy, for example, to go out drinking with the lads or the girls in the evening. But at the beginning of the day, you're far more driven to go to the gym and stuff like that. It's because you're basically a separate person. And that's because you have these reset moments. And the commitment swing, basically when it happens, is that you get on with your life the next day. You're a brand new person. And then when you get reminded of a previous commitment, right, especially if it's one that you don't necessarily have to do, right? Very different, obviously, if it's a contract to pay off your mortgage, because that's logistically set up. But that the commitment swing, basically people just like push it off so hard. Like, no, that wasn't, no, I'm good. That basically what they're feeling is that wasn't me. That was someone else, right? And that's why they like throw themselves the exact opposite way. So that's why it's so important, man. Like you might as well, with follow-up, you might as well just say, there's always a 1 in 10 chance that the person will actually go forward still. 1 in 10. Because that's down to personality types more than anything else rather than critical decision-making. But that's why you can basically say no. You can basically say, see it, never see you again, and follow up. Like when I speak to people about one-to-one support, I don't know if I did it with you. I still do it with people that get started at the moment. I basically say, hey, so look, on this call, I'm just not going to objection handle you, because if I have to objection handle you now before we get you the results, then I have no interest in trying to keep you committed to the work later on. Make sense? And they say, yeah. And if anyone ever says like, yeah, this is great, Llewellyn, how about, can we talk about this next week, next month? I'm like, no, no, mate. No, let's be real with ourselves. Either you're ready to do this now and we can work out something to do, or it's just not going to happen. Like you and I, we don't have to BS ourselves. I know you believe right now this is the right thing for you and that you'll definitely come back to this in a month. But we know that's not true because we're both in sales and we know what commitment swing is like. Okay. And very often they'll go like, no, genuinely, I'll see you in a month. I'm going to get started. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. It's like, put your money where your mouth is then. Like I will not as a deposit, but I will bet you $100 you don't get back. Right. And
this is so interesting. I never heard this.
And they never come back, and I never chase them for the $100 because I'm like that, because that person is a completely different person now. Okay, so to quote Josh Lyons, I like his comment on this: "Fuck follow up." Right? It's just a case of the only thing that matters is the commitment they're making right then, and that's why getting a deposit is so important, by the way, because that is a commitment. It's like the mortgage for the home, right? that is the fruition of a commitment. Whereas if you just do follow-up, then you're basically relying on someone who's no longer inhabiting the body you're speaking to.
Wow. This is super interesting because the other school of thought, right? There is lots of people who say, well, all the money is in the follow-up.
Of course they do, because they do marketing, right? Or, and the people that, or they're salespeople who can't close, you know, or they're salespeople that don't understand human psychology, or they're salespeople that relatively, the other school, I don't agree with the other school of thought, but I know what you mean. There are people that say that it's all in the follow-up, right? And there, again, there's a 1 in 10 chance, 100%. And when you got when you got 1,000 people in follow-up, that 100 every now and then can seem quite huge, but it's incomparable to the 900 that didn't go forward, right? And also the other thing to point out is they're just saying it. Everything's a marketing term. Like if someone says this is the surefire way to do it, it's a marketing ploy. That's just it. It's to make them seem like they have something that other people haven't worked out because they're not clever enough. But the psychology paper and literature is very, very clear on this. Like, if I'm sitting with a heroin addict, I can get them in a room to admit to all the concerns, all the reasons, all the whys, and I can give them like a 6-step plan to get clean, and they will generally begin step 1 and 2 before they fall asleep, and the next day they feel a little bit better because they're doing what they need to do. But then like another person just takes over because they have a reset.
Yeah.
That's just it.
This is good.
Yeah, fuck follow-up, brother. Just get some level of commitment. You can just call it out saying, hey, can I, if they say, no, I definitely want to do this, I just need until next week or tomorrow. And it's not money logistical. You say, okay, no, I appreciate that. Can I be real with you though? And they'll say, yeah, sure. I say, great. I'm really happy you want me to be real with you. So here's the thing. And look, I'm going to raise this because I'm here to help you, right? If you want to make a transition in your life where you can get some financial independence and you can actually make a change, and I think it's really important to go over this statistic. So statistically, all right, when people say that they're going to do something next week when they could be doing it today, they are 90% unlikely to do it. I'm not saying you're not going to be the 10%, right? But that's the statistic. Do you know why that is? And they go, because other things get in the way or whatever it is. I say, yeah, exactly. Life gets in the way. And the truth is, right, we almost become different people by this same time next day, right? And it's nothing against, it's just how human psychology works, right? And look, I'm more than happy to try and connect with you a week from now. But like anything else in life, when people say that they want to go to the gym every single day, right, so they can get a 6-pack or get those huge thighs, whatever it is, and they end up only just going once a weekend, right? Like everything else in life, things just get in the way. I'm more than happy to schedule some time to reach out to you, but just let me just ask you this, like what is actually more important for you, right? Is it more about getting the results right and making sure you're on the path right now to achieve those results and to guarantee it? Or is it more important for you just to be thinking about things? Again, no judgment. I'm just here to help you if I can. All right? And at that point, you would hope they would say it's more about the results with the conversation you've been having prior to it. Okay? And then either way, if they say they want to, but if they say they want to think about it, if they want to get the results, you then say, okay, great. So like, I appreciate you being honest and transparent with me. Here's what we do. Because again, 9 times out of 10, we never hear from people, right? We have to schedule the time out. We try and give you a couple of calls, but we never hear from people. So if we were to do something right now that wouldn't require you to pay the full investment, but turns that 90% unlikely to a 90% likely that you're going to do this, is that something you'd be open to? And they say, yeah. Say, great. All we need then is a form of deposit. Because when you make a commitment to something, even at a small level, you're basically telling yourself going into next week that you've already started. And that this isn't just another thing that's on the, another thing on the list of the to-do list, right? Is that a crazy idea if we just have a look at what would be comfortable for you to have some level of deposit so that in a week's time, we know we can get this fully started? Is that crazy? Boom.
I love this, man. This is very good.
And that's just what you just pointed out, man. Like, that's just it.
I did recently, actually, with one woman, but not as eloquently as you do. I need to rewatch this and write down the verbiage because the verbiage is spot on.
You just enjoy it, man. You just enjoy it. Use statistics, use a challenge, and then put them aside and always feed in the language, I'm here for you. I'm here for your side, kind of thing.
This is good. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there is this thing. So this is something we discussed together some time ago, and that's me using during the call that makes sense, and then basically to whatever you say, I have learned to do my default. That makes sense, even if I want to reframe it, and even if it's BS.
Yeah.
Yesterday we were watching my call on our company training, right? And the guy, he addressed exactly that, and I was like, yes, you are spot on, that's true. And I kind of slipped back into that habit on doing it again.
Good man.
So I guess I don't even, it's kind of obvious, right? So if you say something which makes no sense, like, well, yeah, I've been doing this Facebook and it's going really well. Even that before you told me it's not working and it's bringing you one client in 2 months. So there is no, that makes sense, right? Because
exactly. You're confused.
It makes no sense.
Yeah.
It's just, wait a second, Llewellyn, right?
Yeah.
Like being basically, just call it out.
Yeah, exactly. Because here's the thing, man. I use the analogy of like they have a script, you have a script. Another way to think about it, which I think is quite powerful at the end of the day, is they're telling a story. You know, they're telling a story of their life. And you have like the Chris Voss experience, you have like the CIA, not the CIA experience, but the special services, right? And so when you're interrogating someone, right, when they're telling a story that you know is they're telling the story basically to protect themselves from a crime, right? And so when you're actually just speaking to someone, you don't raise your voice, you don't say that's a lie, you don't do anything like that. You just act confused like a detective, just talking to someone. You say, well, hold on a second, it doesn't quite make sense. Like, how do you mean, right? And then when people start to feel, this is what they do in interrogation education, as you know, when people start to feel that their story just isn't making sense, right? Then they start to try and piece it together haphazardly. They fall apart. They feel uncertain because they feel confident only if the story makes sense and the story is holding the lie of what they've been doing. But as soon as you start to get them to like try and retach it all together mid-story, their mind just loses it. And that then creates almost like this vacuum, this moment of I don't actually know my own story kind of thing. And so you get to rewrite the story with them right there and then, right? You get to be like, well, hold on a second. Like, does this really seem like the future that you want to put yourself on? I mean, up until now, it kind of sounds like if we're to complete the story of Red Riding Hood, she's just going to get eaten by a wolf, right? But how about we look about possibly setting it up so that she actually delivers the biscuits to grandma? How does that sound? Sick.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're completely right, man. You're on the nose.
Fantastic.
My grandmother, how big your nose is.
Yeah. Never heard that one in English.
No, have you never?
No. Well, this was super helpful, man.
Yeah, good stuff, man. Good advanced things. Yeah, I agree with you. Volume is your main thing right now, right? So just do what you can, crush it, and yeah, hit me up, man.